Recording is on.
Hello and welcome to the Monday, July 12th, 2021, DXbiz Dev Call. For today's agenda, I don't think we have any new members introducing themselves, right, Melanie? We'll have a presentation from Manasi from Komorebi Collective to introduce herself and what they are doing. And I think, yeah, we can explore or think what can DXDAO and Komorebi do together. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah, correct. It's more of an informal chat. It's not a presentation. It's an intro for the two teams to
awesome.
Find common ground. Yeah, because we have common interests.
Yeah. Under DX events, we have ECC coming up, so the status and the plan, and we have kind of a group dinner planned. We have ETHVC that Sky is leading, basically. We can talk about that. It's kind of like a VC hub during ECC. And there are squad opportunities. We have hedgy finance. Thoughts on using options for DXDAO buyback program. Swarm discussion, and under DXbiz discussions, we had we have a prediction market thought piece, hats discussion from the past couple of weeks, and there's proposals up in the chat. DX bounties, this is still something we're trying to collect and structure, and if we have time, a discussion on DXDAO based on Polygon. And yeah, we also have a topic here around figuring out how to bring the DXDAO wider community and to contribute ideas and stuff like that. So that's that. Oh, yes, and the Daoist. I think maybe the Daoist might be the most important one. So we can start with that right after the Komorebi introduction. So maybe we can start with that.
Yeah, so basically, I invited Manasi because we are really interested in what the Komorebi Fund is doing. They've basically created the first investment DAO that's focused on funding female and non-binary crypto founders, which is rare in the space. And DX Ventures totally supports that effort. We've been chatting, and there's been ideas on due sharing, and especially recently with the introduction of devolution to our team through Sky, which is a really interesting project. And it just piqued the interest of Manasi, and she suggested that she comes by, introduce herself, and yeah.
Thank you, Nathan. Hey, everyone. This is Mansi. I am currently the VP of Strategy and Operations at Skynet Labs, where we do decentralized storage. But I'm also the founder of Women in Blockchain, which is an initiative I founded a couple of years ago. And I'm pretty familiar with John here. I didn't know John was part of this, but that makes sense. And I'm happy to be here and introducing myself. So with Women in Blockchain, the idea is, again, to increase diversity in the crypto space. And we've, over the years, undertaken various initiatives which were more focused on community building and education. But we realized that, we also need to do something more on the funding side of things, especially promoting more female founders and non-binary founders in the space. So with that kind of intention, we recently came together with She256, which is another initiative in the space, and Kinjal Shah from Blockchain Capital. Kind of these three groups came together to create Komorebi DAO, which is, like Nathan mentioned, a collective to invest in female founders, non-binary founders in the crypto space. And so far, we've seen some good deal flow, which is, a lot of VCs that are part of kind of the collective are surprised that we are seeing a lot more deal flow in terms of female founders than them. And I think a lot of that is just setting the intention to be accessible and funding diverse founders. So that's kind of my background or spiel in terms of Komorebi Collective. And like Nathan mentioned, we've been talking about how we can work together with DX Ventures, DXDAO in general, and happy to be here.
Awesome, Manasi. That's really interesting what you just shared, that you've seen increased deal flow from female founders compared to other VCs in the space. It seems like the space isn't much inviting, and that there's this fear in female founders to even compete because they obviously there's something there. They probably feel like it's not a level playing field, and they don't feel comfortable. And it seems like you announcing this awesome initiative has made it more inviting, and we would love to support your effort.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's definitely a lot about just setting that intention and making ourselves, like I said, accessible. A lot of female founders, sometimes feel intimidated reaching out to some of these big VC firms as opposed to maybe us, which is great. So we've definitely seen, a lot of interesting conversations where they might not even feel that they're ready, but they are. And we are just, also helping them through the fundraising process, not just funding themselves, as through our fund. So yeah, that's where I'm at. We would love to do any kind of deal sharing with DX Ventures, and I'm also going to be in Paris next week, so would love to meet you all, you lovely folks, whoever is going there in person.
Oh, brilliant. I was just browsing through the list of startups pitching at ETHVC, and I've only already pinpointed one startup that has got female founders in it, and so it would be really interesting.
Yeah, let me know how to get involved with ETHVC. One quick note. So our thesis is we don't need all founders to be female. We need at least one female or non-binary founder on the team. So that's kind of where we are at in terms of criteria.
Of course, that's brilliant. Right, and I may not be the best person to talk about DX Ventures. Perhaps any of my colleagues, Sky in particular, would like to share a little about our initiative.
Yeah. Hey, Manasi. Thanks for joining us. I think you may have read a little bit about DX Ventures, but just to give some background and a bit of learnings, and I had a question for you, like related. But we basically, as a DXDAO, as a DAO, like as a pretty forward, decentralized thinking DAO, like we've run into many problems over the last year where there's lots of tools and things that don't exist, and it makes it hard for DXDAO to operate in the ways that we really would like to operate. So we do take some shortcuts here and there. We use Twitter because there is no such thing as decentralized Twitter, and as an example. But we have a goal to invest and support teams and projects that are basically building the tools and infrastructure that DAOs such as DXDAO itself needs. But then we think lots of DAOs will also need as more and more DAOs come on board, right? And there's a spectrum of types of DAOs, but and solutions that will fit those. But at the same time, we also realize that in just like only investing from like a financial perspective is not like the most productive way to do it. And so, we did do an investment grant, which was kind of an investment, kind of a grant with Opolis, which is like building infrastructure for like Web3 contract employees and stuff that gets them benefits. And we are also, we recently kind of have the idea to expand DX Ventures into more than just investing for financial reasons alongside this mission. But I think we also have interest to give grants to support early projects that could then lead to investment opportunities, and then potentially, become part of the DXDAO umbrella and ecosystem, and even incubate and help teams early on. And so we are trying to work through that with one of the governance dashboard or governance platforms that is kind of starting up and trying to figure out their path and whether they should take investment money or if they should start building on grants and things. And so I was just wondering if if Komaribi, if you guys have like thought about that and encountered that. And I know you have money from like individual people, but then also from some big, obviously like crypto and VC funds that have helped fund the initial funding. And are you guys like also interested in using grants to like start off supporting teams rather than just do VC investments, and like how you're balancing those two, and if you guys have like experienced that?
Hey Sky, great to meet you. Yes, definitely. So that's kind of one of the challenges that we are facing right now. So a little bit of background in terms of Komaribi's investment thesis is most of our money that we've raised through these amazing angel investors and VC firms is for equity investments, and like you mentioned, more on the funding side of things. So what we are seeing is, some of these deal flows that we are seeing, some founders are not at the stage of raising for equity, and they are looking for grants, and we don't have the capacity to fund them. And we've been talking to Meta Gamma Delta. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they do a lot of grants for early stage projects. So, if DX Ventures is exploring that part, we would love to send projects that come our way but are too early for equity investments and are looking for grants to begin with, and then eventually fundraise full time.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's interesting that you guys don't have that ability. Maybe you will at some point in the future, but if you do find teams that are in that scenario, for sure DX DAO, especially if it's like in the DAO related world, like things that DX DAO will need, or like DAO focused opportunities. I think grants is something that DX DAO has the ability to lead with. So that would be cool. And we do know Meta Gamma Delta and the Meta Cartel people. And so, yeah, I think if there are projects that like are in that specific situation, I think there's a group of entities out there that could get together to support from early days, basically. So that's cool to know.
Yeah, I love that. What's kind of the best way to send projects to DX Ventures? And just to clarify, we don't have the capacity to do grants in like the first iteration, but this is just the first iteration of Komaribi Collective, and we have plans to do round 2 where we expand the collective, the backers, and the various things that we can do as a collective. So yes, that definitely will be part of our conversation in the future. But for now, how do I share these with DX Ventures?
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah, I would say maybe the best thing would be to create like a Telegram group that we share like between the DXDAO people and maybe some of the Komaribi people. And yeah, just on that topic, like if you guys are like fundraising again, maybe DXDAO would be interested to participate and sort of like invest as a DAO, investing in like another DAO. That could be something interesting as well.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. So what I'll do, we are writing down prospective investors for kind of next round. So I'll definitely put you down for that. And then for now, we can create a Telegram group and share deals and take the conversation forward.
Yeah, this sounds great. I wish to also add that DX Ventures is pretty much representing DXDAO and the whole ecosystem that we've created. We're decentralized multi-chain apps. So we're not purely a venture capital firm as anyone would think of traditionally. We have these amazing dApps that we have developed with the help of the community that create a really interesting network effect for acceleration of teams that are at a stage that are ready to scale. So if you have a business that you've invested in, what we could do is help them with governance. We can help them with an initial decentralized exchange offering. We can help them with our automated market maker, with liquidity mining. So that there is a huge avenue to explore in a way to utilize those the best way possible.
Hey, Nathan, if I could chime in here, I'm just a little surprised no one else is pushing back on this, because one of the reasons why I joined DXDAO is that it says, no hierarchies, open for everyone, equal access for all. And this initiative really runs counter to that, because what this organization is saying is you have to have a female founder, or else you can't be a part of this fund. So I think that really runs counter to the whole ethos of DXDAO, where we don't care if you're a man, you're a woman, you can even be anonymous. You're judged based on your merits. So it seems very unmeritocratic to me.
Well, why, Caden? If a company approaches us and they don't have a single female in their lines, if they're all males, we can still invest in them. What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with this is that we're talking about working with an organization which is specifically saying, you have to have a female founder, else we're not working with you. And the ethos of DXDAO is we're open for everyone, equal access for all, whether you're a man or not. So I don't see how does this further that goal?
Well, as actually Manasi has explained earlier, they're actually seeing a wider flow because of that initiative. So if you include like the opportunities that they're seeing, in addition to opportunities that DXDAO sees itself, in addition to opportunities you can go out and find and seek out yourself, it actually expands the full range of opportunities. So if anything, it's accretive and not like limiting. It actually is. It adds to the potential pie.
Yeah, and I think maybe the focus here is trying to onboard, and diversify the field more. I mean, there's obviously more men than women, so try to onboard like more of these type of people, and like an analogy that we can give, if there's like a institution that researches, I don't know, like prostate cancer, it doesn't mean that the rest of the cancers are unimportant. It's just that this one is focused on that, right? And it's fine to like have one that's focused on something. And I think it's great that we're collaborating. So
yeah, brilliant analogy. Thanks, Alan. Yeah.
Can we put this to a vote?
I also support Caden's statement. I also support Caden's statement. Somehow, it is actively discriminating, right? Like the argument, you can make an argument if it's discriminating for good or for bad, but it is somewhat discriminating, right? And I think we should just invest in awesome products. And I personally don't think gender or sexuality should be important in the investment approach. But yeah, so just wanted to say that as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's why we're not focusing on that. But there's Manasi and there's these guys that are focusing on that. Then why not collaborate?
Yeah, if there are awesome projects, yeah, sure. I just would hope that it wouldn't be a main driver in making an investment decision. The other aspects.
Just to push back, just because we are funding female founders doesn't mean we are funding any project that comes by. Definitely there is a good amount of due diligence. The whole VC process still remains the same. And I guess to, Keaton's point, I hear you. But I also think there are tons of opportunities out there for everyone. And our focus is specifically to increase diversity in the space. And it's not meant to be exclusive in any way, but I think there's a need for an initiative like ours.
And that's fine that you're doing that, but that's just not DXDAO's mission, because DXDAO's mission is, open access for everyone, regardless of your gender. So I don't think DXDAO has any role in giving funding only to an organization that only allows female founders.
No, but that's not what they're doing. They're not just female founders that they're supporting. If they have a startup that has a female founder and a male founder, they will totally support it if it's economically viable, if the product is good. What they're saying is they encourage more female founders to apply, but it doesn't mean that they will fund more of those. And what if 90% of those funded end up with also a male founder in them? Like, well, what's the problem with that? I don't think that's
all right. So
in any way discriminatory.
Can I ask you a question about this? So if a man applies and he does not have any female co-founders, then would he be considered equally to a team that has female founders on it?
I think he has a lot more opportunities outside of our fund that female founders don't. And that's kind of, the focus here. the idea is that we encourage people to have female founders on their teams, and if they don't, that's, I think, according to me, that's a problem.
You know what,
Okay, so
Caden,
the
let's balance this out, and you can bring a white male only fund, and we can also fund them as well. And then we'll have one that's only for females and one that's only for males. And then it'll be balanced 50-50 in the allocation of funds that we provide the two organizations.
Yeah, good one, Tammy. Yeah, I was just about to say the existence of Komorebi does not at all decrease the chances of male founders to raise egg. What if Komorebi doesn't exist? What's the difference? Like, what's the harm for male founders, Caden?
Nathan, I don't think there's a harm. I'm not saying that Komorebi can't exist. It's fine that they're doing what they're doing. It's just that it doesn't align with DXDAO's mission to support this. And I really like to put it to a vote, because I mean, there's a reason why I joined this DAO. It's because I thought we believed in what we said, is that we're open for everyone, and we don't do affirmative action, and we don't support organizations that do affirmative action. Or
hey, Caden, can we stay focused on biz dev? This is kind of getting out of hand.
Yeah.
Like, you could take it to the forum. This is
Yeah. Also, affirmative action does not mean you don't focus on everyone. I think you need to look into this a little bit more.
Yeah,
really look at what affirmative action is, and we bring it to the forum. That's fine, but
Yeah, I mean, this is the discussion we can have. I mean, it's an interesting discussion, and obviously there are opposing opinions. And yeah, I think we can take that somewhere else and continue that. And yeah, we can continue the discussion with Manasi. Nathan, are you gonna own that to create a group?
Yeah, sure. We will, we'll continue the discussion in the forum. Hear Caden's point, and if we come to a consensus, then we can move forward with it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time, Manasi, and I thank you for your time. It's been great having you, and we'll continue with our daily session. If you can feel free to remain. If you have something else to do, you could. You're not obliged to stay the whole time. But
yeah, thank you, Nathan, for inviting me. And this is a good conversation. Like I said, I'll be at ECC in Paris, so love to meet some of you folks there. But yeah, awesome. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I do have to hop off.
All right.
Yeah, so our next topic is actually about ECC and some of the DX events. I think the first one we're going to talk about is the DAOist, and there's a proposal up. It should pass in a couple of days. Is that correct? Yeah, 5 hours, 50 minutes, according to the last thing that Caden said. Caden, do you want to? Oh, it's boosting in 5 hours. Okay. Okay. So, do you want to take the lead on that?
Yeah. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, just trying to get posts up on my end here. So basically, the DAOist is an event, I guess the first kind of in-person event, large since this this pandemic hit, happening the day after ECC, I believe. It's just going to be a big group of DAO-focused individuals and thought leaders and everyone related to DAOs. I believe there's support from a lot of XDAI DAOs, a handful of Ethereum DAOs, and it's just a good thing for us to be a part of and be present at. Yeah, really, that's kind of the main point. There's a proposal up on mainnet now, boosting in 5 hours, and will pass, we'll be going through within 7 days after that. So we'll be in time for that. Nathan, you said that you're in contact with the team, right?
Yeah. They were just asking about the time frame, and I've informed them, and they're all right. They'll reserve a spot for us, even though the transaction would probably go through in about 7 days' time. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So take a look at that. I'm going to grab the proposal here and share it. And in 5 hours, feel free to vote. Make sure you wait till the boosting period so you don't get your rep locked up.
Yeah. The cool thing is the DAOist is actually has plans to be a bigger initiative than just this one event they're putting on, almost become an organization, probably most likely a DAO that DXDAO would be a member of, and to continue to have events like do speaker sessions and things related to, well, obviously focused on DAOs. And so DXDAO being involved in this and staying involved and participating in this community and actually helping to educate and be a thought leader in this DAO space, because this is going to be composed of many different types of DAO on the spectrum. So it actually is a really good platform for DXDAO to share the way that it is moving forward in the actual decentralized DAO space. And so the sponsorship is a support and a sponsorship and an involvement for DXDAO in this growing new community. At the same time, there's also a lot of cool panels and discussions that will take place. I'm trying to organize one that is focused on like the challenges. Like right now it's titled "The Challenges DAOs Are Navigating Building in the Web3 World Along the Decentralization Spectrum." And so there's already someone from the MakerDAO ecosystem, metagame ecosystem, this guy Jimmy, who is involved in like index co-op ecosystem. So, you know, Maker is a bunch of different. So there's these probably lean towards the more decentralized DAOs. We could involve some other DAOs that just use multi-sigs, but it could be an interesting discussion, and it will be good for people in the overall DAO space to hear about these challenges, and it will bring awareness to like the things that different DAOs are out and how they're approaching different problems and tackling things in the space. So hopefully that will be a good chat within the overall event.
Yeah, and this event actually, the DAOist, is composed from DAOfest, which was kind of running before COVID in all of the big events. It's kind of like a DAO-focused conference. And yeah, so these are like real DAO people for a long time, I guess.
Yeah, and it is on a Friday, and there was a sign-up form. I don't know how many people that are attending ECC from DXDAO are staying around for that Friday. But if you are and you got a ticket, great. If you didn't get a ticket, you could still become a volunteer, which is just committing a few hours to attend and help out with the event as well. So we should coordinate that in the ECC chat, but hopefully, yeah, as many people that will be there could also attend this event.
Do we have to apply right now, or can we do it like later?
To come?
Yeah, to Daoist.
Yeah, ideally do it as fast as possible.
When you should, if you want to be a volunteer and help with the event also, that's the only way now. So if you know you would like to attend, then you should do that soon.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Did you guys get a confirmation email for signing up to the DAOist? Because I definitely signed up, but I didn't.
Yeah, there was no confirmation for anything as of now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cut it off. There's about 250 people that have signed up, and so you'll probably get some more information, but they had to cut it off after that. There's limitations and things.
I think they have limited staffing or something, because they don't even have the schedule up on the website yet. It's all still in the making, and I think when you look at it this way, we are late. I mean, not late, but it's taking us a couple of weeks to wire $2,000. Imagine if everyone else is the same, so they don't really know who's attending and who isn't. So that's what messing up their organization on their end, probably.
Yeah, this is. I don't know if you guys have looked at like the Paris calendar, but this is in general how decentrally organized Ethereum weekly events happen often, where there's a main event like ECC, which has been pretty well planned, and then there will be 50 other events that will come together in the weeks leading up to the event, and it's pretty open and decentralized. So like theoretically, DXDAO could still throw its own drinks event and add it to the decentralized schedule if it chose to. So this is often how these weeks in places work.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to like a crypto event, it's a lot of mingling. There's like, as Kai said, there's basically events. There's the main event, and then there's events like all throughout each day. And you mingle a lot, you speak a lot, and it's very draining to drink every day and wake up early to like conferences and stuff. So it's an interesting thing, I guess.
You're saying that as if someone is, forcing you to drink.
I mean, someone's going to give me alcohol. I'm going to drink.
You're saying out of courtesy for the host.
So my kind of take is that all these events are very weird until you get a bit tipsy, and then they're not weird anymore. They're very fun.
Yeah. Remove the inhibitions.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess maybe the next kind of topic around DCC is the group dinner that we have planned for Monday evening. And I think we have a place booked. Is that right?
I mean, not yet.
All right.
But I'll do it this week. I mean, it's going to be easy. We just have to find a place. But I'll ask my friend from Paris.
All right.
Promise it was sorted.
Yeah, we can also find a bakery, grab baguettes, and sit in front of the Eiffel Tower eating baguettes.
I don't recommend, because the Eiffel Tower garden is a mess. Plus with COVID.
Too many pigeons.
Yeah, also exactly. No, but I'm gonna find a place. Don't worry. If everything is okay with French food or anything, I'll find it out, and I'll try to be as close as possible to the venue, to the conference venue. So because I guess everyone is sleeping around there now.
Yeah, around the fifth quarter,
yeah.
I guess, or something, or the fifth, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe the next thing is kind of like ETHVC, which is I think Sky, you're going to be the one leading that, and
Tammy and I will be representing DX Ventures as part of this greater group. I shared a list of like a bunch of the funds and things that are attending, which is pretty impressive. That will be like a DAO on that list. We also get a couple virtual attendee passes. So Nathan will attend virtually, and you, I think, can listen and watch all the presentations as well. And there'll be another option, another pass for virtual for someone if they want. Yeah, and so there's some good projects already on there that they've shared a list of the projects that are pitching, but talking with the other like funds and just leaders in the space is good as well. Yeah, so that's a good way for DX Ventures and DXDAO to represent itself at ECC and have a little bit more of a presence.
Yeah. Is anyone else speaking? Because I think I'm like the only speaker, maybe. Is that right?
Yeah, mine didn't get accepted, so maybe it was.
Yeah, so I'll happily like do a dry run about like my presentation. It's going to have a lot of memes. I'm going to talk about governance and how basically everything we're using now is shitty and how we can move forward. And yeah,
I just read the synopsis of your expose. It's interesting. It would be a good talk.
Yeah, I wrote that synopsis and then I kind of committed to that, I guess. So
no recycling your 2019 DAOFest talk, Nylon. I will be comparing.
Good one.
The DAOFest 2019 in Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was talking about DHack in specific, so I can't really do this like that.
That's true.
I have to build something new.
Yeah, if we could move ahead, the one important thing we want to talk about is this idea of a prediction market thought piece, which Caden, you're still here, like you can talk about. But this is an interesting idea. I think it's a difficult thing, and this is why this discussion is important. And I'd like to hear what people think. But Caden, you can, if you want to give a brief summary of your idea, this idea of like working with other quote unquote competitors or other people in the space that are trying to do the same thing you're doing, whether it comes to Omen or Swapper or whatever, just getting together and working alongside them. And if that's even possible, if they want to do it, do we want to do it, and do a joint research / thought piece, be a thought leader in the space, and then publish that and have that out and have that kind of relationship connected on paper in some way. If we think that's a good idea, if we should do it on our own, or if we should do it in tandem, can we leverage projects that have more like wider awareness across the space? Is that a benefit, or is that like how should we treat that thing? So Kaden, if you want to give like kind of what your thought was, that'd be great.
Yeah, thanks guys. So I guess I'll start with what I want to start with. So I think it's a good long-term goal to build basically an industry lobbying group where we're working together with other prediction firms to basically increase the pie as a whole and bring more people into the prediction space, especially bring more of the larger companies and larger entities like polling organizations and such into the space. But you don't just get there just immediately. And the way I want to start is I want to start by reaching out to Augur to write a joint piece with them, and this would have several goals along with it. One of them would be it would actually lend legitimacy to the Omen brand, because we're working with Augur, and Augur is a reputable company. They follow all the laws about all the U.S. even the U.S. KYC and all that stuff. So working with them will be very good for that, and also because of that, they're not available to U.S. customers. So, and also I don't know all the countries they're not available in, but there's also quite a few other than the U.S. they're not available because they're really by the books in that way. So it's not, and they serve a slightly different niche. So working with them, there would be a lot of Augur users who would see this who aren't able to use Augur because it's not available in their country, for example, and they would be drawn to Omen. And basically what the article would be about is it would be an article about why people should be using prediction markets and why they're better than other forms of polling. So why polling companies should be using them. They says I think the reason they're not available are legal. Yeah, they're not available for legal reasons because they're playing it by the books. They don't want to go against the law with that. But anyways, yeah. So the article would be try to draw more users into prediction markets as a whole, because right now prediction markets are a very small space. So it would help get some of the huge amount of users in the online betting space, and even the research space into the same ocean. But I'm curious to hear what everyone thinks about that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your point, Kaden, that like I think there's more to be gained by like moving the space forward. Like I think prediction markets as a whole are not very widely understood, known, and like don't have a ton of traction like overall. So I think if Augur or other projects were willing to work with us on that, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I fully support the idea of pushing forward on thought leadership for the prediction market stuff, especially as we come forward with the guild. Why not? Yeah, why not continue to explore this? It's a good idea.
Yeah, to echo those, I do think prediction markets have the potential to just be so much more, but there's so much education I think that needs to happen, and a lot of even research. So I like the idea of collaborating and building more like almost industry-wide information on it. I think it would be really cool to also like bring in academics and like people from the prediction market research space into this. And so maybe that's something that with Augur, with we could be able to engage like a wider set of people who are like casually interested in prediction markets and really try to like own that space and be a thought leader more broadly. But I do think there's just a lot of work left in just explaining and figuring out and educating about prediction markets.
Yeah, Caden actually had a really good idea that he mentioned last week to myself and Geronimo regarding kind of like more B2C contacts, as far as especially like when Chris, you referenced the kind of research elements that we could go about doing this with. It's like there's a lot of commercial research that could look into basically ways to get companies to gauge like the success of a future product by doing like a prediction market type format. So yeah, it could be interesting to like think about further research for sure.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, maybe reach out to Gnosis as well. I think like Martin Koppelman's, sort of like end goal in life, I think, is like to bring forth futarchy, like a governance system that involves prediction markets. And yeah, like this is, I see smiles, but yeah, this is something to explore.
Yeah, I also like Chris's idea about involving academics, perhaps students or professors interested in Hansen's logarithmic market scoring rule, and market makers, the conditional token framework. So yeah.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Nylon, you said Martin Copeland?
Koppelman, he's like the CEO of Gnosis. I think Sky says they're not doing anything. No, it isn't on their plan, basically, Sky.
They have taken conditional token framework and prediction markets basically off of their roadmap.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought like this is like Martin. Like every time I've met him, he was like, "Yes, futarchy is the future. It's the only way forward. It's the only way to organize society."
It seems they've shifted focus on MEV now. So
this is partly why trying to do some deal / partnership with them around GNO rewards and anything or anything working together around conditional tokens is stalled because they don't have a Gnosis Gnosis DAO, Gnosis GNO holders don't have any benefit to it basically, so they've shied away from it for now until there's some like economic reason for them to stay involved.
Although I think that puts an unfair amount of blame on DXDAO for not wanting to do a deal, and I don't think that's a fair characterization. I think they lost interest long before they even really started negotiating with us on that. So it's a convenient narrative, but
yeah, but they have.
Bottom line is they're not doing anything in prediction markets these days.
They are not doing it now. So that's what the current state is. But so the question is like this type of research and piece. I agree that that's good for the overall space. If Augur, who knows if Augur wants to do this with Omen, right? But whether or not they do or don't, should DXDAO do this type of publication and research on our own, or are we like only doing it if we're doing it with other people?
Well, I'm still doing it. So like part of my initial working proposal actually was to make a piece explaining why prediction markets are better. So that's still coming, whether or not we work with Augur or not. I just think it would be better if we worked with them.
I mean, someone's going to have to lead this, and I think like DXDAO could be the one sort of like leading this, even in kind of like, I don't know, pushing the first article, pushing the first feature pieces, and the more people collaborate on this, the better. They don't see any downside to more people being on.
Yeah, and Martin Kopelman may still be a good person to talk to, even if Gnosis is not as a company pursuing prediction markets.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to say DAO and I don't want to say nonprofit, but it's like we need like an industry group to like push things forward in this. And like that would be great to have like Augur in it, like Omen, and then like, Martin could be involved in that in some way, even be like a figurehead or something. And then that's what can engage with like, outside groups that are trying to do experiments or like academics or anything like that. But I think it is maybe some type of like new entity. I don't know.
And I don't know, some of you may know that my company had previously had a grant from Gnosis and then from Aragon to work on futarchy related stuff. And we had conversations with Martin about something like this, like an industry group that like pushes prediction markets and stuff forward. So, I mean, I think he could be interested and he'd at least know the right people to talk to. Because I think he's had these conversations before. Yeah.
Awesome.
Prediction markets for researchers? Like predicting whether researchers will write about prediction markets?
Or do you mean like using prediction markets in an academic setting? How so? Do you want to expound on that?
No.
It's an interesting idea.
No. Well, this is a great initiative, and I think like Caden, take the reins on it.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna reach out, so I will draft an email to the specific. So Augur is broken up into two parts. I'm guessing it's just for legal reasons. I don't know if they're actually broken up or if it's just kind of like, yeah, we're separate. Kind of like how we say DXDAO only builds the code and we don't deploy it, but so I'm gonna reach out to them and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Cool. We do have a couple more minutes. I don't know if we'll be able to like fully start a new topic. Does anyone have any other things they want to bring up?
Well, we could talk briefly about hedgy finance. So there was this idea of incorporating DXD put options as into like a program related to DXD buyback. A DAO has the ability to do that. There was a question on whether or not there's interest on the other side of that. Do people in DXD holders or people in the space, are they interested in owning DXD puts? And so there was a snapshot, and there wasn't huge participation, but there was like some clear demand that people would be interested in long-term DXD puts, and this interest is from DXD holders. So now I don't know if they're factoring what that would cost or why they want to hold these puts, but it's interesting that a handful of people who are DXD holders expressed interest in long-term DXD puts. So we can try to figure out why that's the case, and if so, if people are if there are people in the market that want to buy DXD puts, DXDAO could sell DXD put options longer term at like some out of the money price, and that's actually that could be a smart addition to the DXD buyback program, because you earn premium to then maybe buy back DXD at the prices you already were willing to buy it back at. So it's actually an interesting idea, and this is like, to do this in scale is one thing, but this project to Hedgy Finance, which is an upcoming options platform in the space, it's cross chains. It's on XDAI. It's on like all the different chains. Actually, it's part of the Consensus Tachyon accelerator. They're doing a lot of market research. They're like connected with lots of teams in the space, and they're trying to explore and take advantage of new and different ways that options could be used in our ecosystem. So if we did something there and pushed it forward, even if it was on a trial or a small amount or something, it actually creates a pretty interesting headline and market story that could be spread around, and we get some attention, I think. So it could be a good marketing opportunity in addition to a smart treasury management decision. And
to try to break that down, so just in case people don't understand what the words mean, right? Like, so people would then be paying DXDAO for the option or like the right to sell their DXD to DXDAO at a predefined price, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So they pay like a few bucks to be able to sell their DXD at 0.1 ETH to DXDAO anytime in the next 2 years or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're trying to hedge their position if, in case it goes even lower, they have a set price at which DXDAO will buy their.
Nylon had some interesting background noise.
I guess garage door. That's my guess.
Good
nothing happened.
The way I put it is, taking our precious coin token out of paper hands. That's what I call it. Yeah, and if we've exhausted this topic, Keenan wanted to say something.
Yeah, if there's nothing else, I just need 20 seconds or so here. I just want to quickly call attention to the fact that DXDAO's native documentation resource, DXDocs, is now live on dxdocs.e. You can see the DAO Talk post here. DXDAO now owns the dxdocs.e domain as of, I think, last Friday. So check it out. Start using it. I know our contributor UX squad and some of the Omen squad are already on that. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
It's awesome. You've done amazing work. And I believe everyone would agree with me that it's something that we've needed a long time. And I'm stoked that it's finally ready to share with the world. I just submitted a feature request on GitHub asking to split the open positions and bounties section into, separate the bounties to have their own place in the dogbook. And that's something I believe the DXbiz squad would be happy to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And for context, anyone using DXDocs should be wanting to help improve it and make changes and recognize where things can be improved. In the DAO Talk thread I linked, there's a little mini guide to helping out and making changes if you see the need.
Awesome.
Looks great.
Yeah. Anything anyone else wants to bring up, share?
Have a great Monday, everyone.
Congratulate the Italians, maybe.
Yeah, I think everyone should say congratulations once.
Yes.
It's coming, Rome. Is that the?
And Argentina.